It was a bright, beautiful, sunny morning. I decided to take a walk with one of my children, and as we're walking down the street, we see a woman, a middle-aged woman, walking with her dog. As she's walking with her dog, she's approaching us, and my daughter is like, "Oh, she's such a cute little dog, such a cute little dog." And as she's approaching closer to us with her dog, my daughter starts jumping up and down, really excited. Oh, such a cute little dog, such a cute little dog. And the woman didn't seem so happy. And she said, "Everybody likes doggies." It was like really funny. And I took at it as she left, and I kind of smiled. I was like, I was feeling a little awkward. But then I said to myself, you know what? Perhaps she's trying to say something. And what she's trying to say is probably who pays attention to people. Everybody's excited to see a dog. It's cute. Most people perhaps. They're cute. They're small. And you know what? It's nice just to notice them and smile at them. And as it goes on their way with its owner. So this is so interesting because the same thing happened. A very similar thing happened to Rabbi Zelik Pliskin when he was teaching in Yerushalayim. He was teaching his young students, and in came a cute little dog. And the cute little dog brightened the faces of all the students. And they looked at the dog and they smiled. You know what? How do we look at people? How do we see them? How do we see them? Do we see only their faults? What about when we want to criticize them, which is so hard to do effectively? We Many of us lack the skills onto how to rebuke effectively. However, it definitely is possible with learning, and I hope to share some amazing ideas today on how to criticize or rebuke people effectively so that they will listen. And I will leave you with two practical tips at the end. So, when we view people, do we see their faults? Do we magnify their faults? How about when we want to criticize our children so that they will listen? What is the secret? What are the skills that we need? So we need to understand that even if we are successful only 1 out of 100 times in trying to influence someone, in trying to improve someone's character, we need to continue trying. The Chafetz Chaim teaches us that we should not refrain from trying to help someone improve, even if we think that this person will not listen to us. And we should try to influence as many people as possible. So the Chafetz Chaim gives an example of someone who's selling apples at a busy street corner, and he's saying, "Apples, apples, apples for sale, apples for sale," and people are just passing him by, and not really buying any of his apples. And you might want to come to him and say, you keep on selling your apples and, you know, um, trying to get everyone's attention and putting up a sign and trying to have people buy, but nobody's really buying. And the seller can say, you know what, you're right. Most people don't buy. But the one person who occasionally buys from time to time is the one who's giving me an opportunity to earn my livelihood. And my personal example is an example of a real estate agent. The real estate agent has to do so much research on the land or property or home that they're selling. They're inviting a lot of people to see the home, and they're going to talk to so many people about the home, trying to persuade them to buy this piece of property. However, this real estate agent is so hopeful that hopefully one person will buy this home, will buy this piece of property. It may take years, but the investment is so worth it. The investment is so worth it. Why? He's going to survive. He's going to live off this money. And it's so important for us to understand that just like we invest a lot of time as let's say a real estate agent invests a lot of time trying to make his livelihood, we need to invest our time in making sure that we see the good in others, that we elevate them spiritually. Just like this is a physical gain of money, of parnasa, of livelihood, so we could survive. When we invest in people, when we decide to see the good in them, when we decide to rebuke them properly, criticize them properly, we are making an investment. Even if it's one person out of 100 that you actually affect, and they improve their ways because of your advice and your encouragement, this is worth the effort. Especially, this is so true in parenting. We might feel like we're talking to the wall sometimes to our children. We keep on saying and saying, but the truth of the matter is, the we have to continue not giving up on our children, on others, and trying to be the best influence possible. Okay, so how do we actually motivate them to change? So you shall rebuke your fellow man, and you shall not bear sin because of him. We learn this from the Torah. The Chafetz Chaim frequently told public speakers to focus on the great value and beauty of following the Torah way of life. Now, we must understand that when we criticize other people, it is so important not to bear sin because of them. In other words, if I God forbid embarrass someone, and that includes the members of our family, you know, it's hard. It's really hard for me too. Really working on it, but it's really very important that we as in our ways to trying to improve other people, we don't embarrass them, we don't bear sin, we don't do more wrong than right. So this is very, very, very important, and we're going to learn how with our practical tips. So most people, the Chafetz Chaim said, have enough suffering in their life, and they went through so much that it is just improper to add to their suffering by arousing guilty feelings, by trying to have them change. As public speaker, if he wants to have them change, he shouldn't arouse more negative feelings. What needs to be stressed is the great blessing of following the Torah, how you will be elevated from it, how you will be different, how your life will be enriched by improving your character traits. And there's a short story of Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev. He was walking around. One day he saw a traveling speaker trying to preach and trying to tell his listeners, "You must change your ways." And he was very critical and very harsh. And Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, who saw always the good in people, who uh, wanted always to elevate people, this is what he said to Hashem. He said, "Hashem, this person is not really speaking. It is really his problems and suffering that are talking. He needs to marry off his daughter, and this is how he makes a living. Please, Hashem, send him enough money to pay for the wedding so he will not have a need to find fault in your people." It is a mistake to correct others by humiliating them and embarrassing them. It is clearly forbidden, even when trying to correct someone. So there's two ways in order to change someone, in order to influence them to be better. Number one is you show them the positives in gaining from it, in doing it, how you will be different, how you will be elevated by doing it. The second one is you will threaten the person of the harm that they will experience for not doing it. Now, yes, when a person does not do positive things towards somebody else, when a person does not influence other people in a positive way, yes, you will be harmed. First of all, your connection with the person will be weak. If a mother constantly berates her children and insults them and embarrasses them and scolds them, the kids don't even want to be home. The kids, not let alone they don't want to be home, the kids don't want to be with the mother, and they may carry resentment as they grow up of, "I hated my mother. I never wanted to be around her. She always made me feel small. I never want to be like my mother." So it's very, very important for us to know, listen, I'm yes, my kids are going to listen to me right now, but I am instilling fear and threat and disconnect from my child, and God forbid, hate. So we don't want to do that. So, of course, it is important that we influence others, but influence them in a positive way. And this is absolutely doable. We need to focus on teaching our kids or other people what you will gain if you will do this, how your life will change, how you'll be elevated. Not the negative aspects, what you will lose out, or threaten people. Listen, this is what's going to happen to you if you don't change. This is what you're going to lose out. It doesn't motivate us. The second one is not very motivating. It may motivate people to change, true, but it makes a person feel so down, negative, and we are very good without any effort to put ourselves down so easily. We're very good at that. We're very good at looking at our negative traits. We're very good at looking at ourselves in a where we magnify our faults. We have many faults, true, but we must see the good. We must see, yes, I'm an imperfect person. I have many faults. However, I have so much good. I have so much good. Yeah, so I'll work on my faults, but I need to see the good. We must see the good in ourselves. We must see the good in others, and that's what I hope to teach in these and give over in these being and becoming videos. I want to give you the gift of encouragement. That's really my heartfelt mission is to encourage myself and all of you to strengthen ourselves that we are great, we are amazing. We need to look at ourselves as great. No, no, we're not perfect, but we're not meant to be. First of all, we're meant to be growing people, and this hopefully is my what I really want to instill in these videos, and hopefully encourage us to be better and greater people. So we are commanded in the Torah, love your fellow man as yourself. I am the Almighty. We must love other people because it is the Creator's wishes. The reason why Hashem is not relying on our feelings is because my feelings are always changing. One day we may feel so loving towards someone, the next day our feelings may change. It's not consistent. It's not consistent. We cannot rely on ourselves that, okay, I love this person even when I'm upset at them, or the next day you feel anger towards them. So what is Hashem trying to tell us? Hashem is telling us, I'm not suggesting to you, I am not giving you a recommendation in order to love other people. I'm giving you a commandment. You know, Hashem knows what's best for us. We are going through at the current moment the corona epidemic. It's not comfortable for us to be home. We are given directions, we're given instructions by officials. Stay home. Why stay home? To save your life. So Hashem is telling us, I'm going to give you a prescription on how to be great, on how to be spiritually all that you can be. And one of the prescriptions is love your fellow man. Treat him the way you want to be treated. Not because you feel like it, because I'm commanding you. This is a spiritual gain. So when we're staying home, it's a physical gain. We're saving our lives, and we're saving ourselves spiritually by loving other people like ourselves. It doesn't mean I have to love them. It doesn't mean that, yes, that's a level to grow, but it means I don't treat them the way I don't like to be treated. I treat them the way I want to be treated, and that is loving our fellow man. So I'm going to give you 2 practical tips on how to motivate others to change. And so let's say it's your child. My husband shared with me this phenomenal concept, and I want to share it with you. So it's looking at the behavior, the negative behavior of the person as 1% of the person. So we had an experience this weekend where we had one of our children, we asked them to bring us a bottle of wine so we could have wine at the table. And the child broke the bottle of wine. And of course, it was right when we wanted to sit and eat, and we had to deal with cleaning. And we decided to look at our child as, you know what? Yes, it was absolutely upsetting. It was annoying. It was frustrating. We all wanted to sit down and eat. But then again, it was 1% of the child. And the child could be clumsy, you know. And this is the child is so many things: alert, vivacious, happy, full of energy, helpful. And yes, the situation happened. Doesn't mean their clumsiness is magnified. Yes, they're amazing, and clumsiness is something they want to work on. So you look at the person as a whole child, a whole person, a whole child when you relate to kids, and a whole person when you relate to others. It's a whole person. It's not coloring or defining them. their clumsiness, for example. They're an amazing child or person. They have so much in them. This is just something that they need to work on. That's it. So if I view the person, this is 1% of you, then I'm going to look at them in a positive light. And I'm going to actually rebuke them or criticize them in a warmer way. So the second practical tip is to start with a word that is um, kind, calling them sweetheart, calling them honey, or even calling them, let's say you can't call someone sweetheart or honey, calling them by their name in a sweet way, whether it's Miriam or, darling, whatever that it is. So what are you doing to yourself is you are kind of forcing yourself, or you're motivating yourself, or reminding yourself, this person is so special. This person is not their action. This person messed up. This person is a Selam Elokim. We are not our behaviors on. We make mistakes. Sometimes we decide to color the person by their behaviors. So it's because we're being stubborn with ourselves not to see the good in other people. So you say to yourself, sweetheart, can you please be careful when you go get the wine next time? That's it. It already softens you. And then you say thank you. So it's like a sandwich. Sweetheart is a positive thing you said. Softly, tell them the criticism. And again, at the end, you say thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your help. And that's really it. And I know these are really, really difficult to do. But if I see, just like I remind myself, like when the dog runs into the room and everybody's like, oh, it's so cute. That's how we need to see people. We need to see people as a Tzelem Elokim. They're created in the image of Hashem. People are so special. Yes, we all have faults, but I cannot let the faults of the person magnify and define who they are. Leah Abramov, Being and Becoming. Awakening awareness of your greatness and potential.